G'day, I'm Daniel, and I paint 3D printed geeky shit. Today's victim, this T-Rex. I was sitting in my tool room pretending to work when I got a text from my little sister. Hey, one day could you do a dinosaur? Maybe for the channel? YouTube isn't that kind of site, and my wife said she's not getting on camera. Paint one, dickhead! Oh, right, yeah, that makes more sense. Never painted a dinosaur before, so why not? Couple minutes on the interwebs, and I stumble across this Jurassic Park model from Sanix, and what do you know? Aloy from Horizon was their monthly sculpt. I've wanted an Aloy figure for some time, so naturally, being the responsible adult I am, I bought a 6-month Sanix membership. Impulse control? Never heard of it. Don't worry, I won't just be painting Sanix stuff. I've got plenty of other models in the backlog, but yeah, Aloy is next. This T-Rex is a 1/64 scale. I'd love to make her bigger, but let's not break my printer. Even at this size, she had to be split into 3 parts to fit onto my Saturn 4 Ultra properly. There'll be a second video showing how I stitch her together, but for now, let's paint this giant featherless turkey. First step, as always, dust her off and hit her with primer. I'm using Acrylic Autoborne Sealer. It's water-based, but it stinks to high hell, so I spray it outside. This stuff goes on thin, keeps detail, and you can sand it. So smell aside, it is good gear. With an undertone, I went with a green. Green under browns just give this nice, rich depth to the skin tones. Yes, I know Rexy isn't human. No, I don't care. This is the Nocturna shadow from Vallejo's Fairy Flesh set. Honestly, I'm just using it up. Sets are a pain in the ass when you can't buy other colours separately. You always end up with a mountain of the wrong shades. Next, I put a thin flesh tone over the green. Thin enough so the green still shows. And raw sienna, again, kept light. I want those undertones peeking through so the skin looks layered. I dry brush unbleached titanium to knock everything back. And glaze on some burnt umber for that earthy dino hide look. To start separating belly from back, I go flesh tone mixed with smoke black underneath. And a swampy mix of green, blue, raw umber and flesh tone for the top. Then a thin glaze of that Nocturna shadow ties it all back together. I do one more pass of the Nocturna over the top, slightly heavier this time. I dry brush the unbleached titanium on the belly. And burnt umber and raw umber glazes all over. That's the skin prepped. Time to move on to the portrait. Inside the mouth, I slap on some burned flesh from the Fairy Flesh set. Again, I'm just trying to use these colours up. Then I use a bit of squid pink and some thin washes of blue-green, red-violet and scarlet layered to give that fleshy, slimy look. For the eyes, I start with opaque scarlet. Then build it up with a touch of pyrrole orange and handsy yellow. Finish it with a nice sharp black slit for the pupil. Instant murder chicken. The teeth get opaque, tight and buff. Then a sepia stain to grub them up. Because nothing says apex predator like bad dental hygiene. That's the Rexy's portrait done. The danger chicken is alive and hungry, so let's move on to the base. I start with the fence pole. It's a quick win. Grey dry brush over the post and concrete. Lighter grey on top of that. Then some chainmail silver for the wires. Good enough for now. On to the fun bit, the Jeep. I wanted it to match the staff Jeeps from the movies, so I base coat it in grey, then some Titan buff to prep for the red. First though, I blocked in the sections with Liquitex grey. However, after the red went on, that grey just looked wrong. A bit of Vallejo green grey, fix that right up. Use black for the interior, the tyres and all the little inner details, and I just put it aside. The next up is the Jurassic Park logo. So I Titan buffed over it first. Then I went yellow around the outer ring and red in the middle. For the lettering, I carefully use the side of the brush to graze the raised ridge in the center. Make the silhouette black, the torches black, and then I give them a kiss of bronze on the torch heads. For the flames, I start with opaque white. Dry brush in some pink. Dab in a bit of transparent red, and coat with transparent yellow. Boom! Tiny fiery glow sticks. Now the base itself. I give it a zenithal highlight. This is mostly because I couldn't tell what the fuck it was. Honestly, I'm still not sure, but at least I can squint at it better. I splash on a bunch of natural colour washes to break up wood, rock, mud, whatever the sculptor intended. This is where I shut up for a bit, and I'll just let you watch paint dry, but a little bit faster. With that done and the washers out, I start weathering the Jeep and the fence parts that I had set aside earlier. Then it's oil wash time for the base. I honestly wish I hadn't done this, but it looks good regardless. I use some black, burnt sienna and burnt umber oil mixed right onto the model, so it's not uniform anywhere. After about 40 minutes, the oils are cured enough to wipe back. That leaves all the grime and the cracks and the base suddenly look like it's been sitting in the jungle for 65 million years. I just wasn't fully happy with the staining. I feel it's just a bit too dark. But it still looks great, and as it's the base, it doesn't need to stand out. The dinosaur does. So anyhow, I stick some felt onto the bottom of the base to give it something nice and soft to sit on. And that's about when my overhead light gave up on life. It just refuses to connect to my Wi-Fi or my Bluetooth. So much for a fucking smart globe. Whatever. I have some extra lights on their way. So in the meantime, I will seal everything with a Micador varnish. It's safe over oils and acrylic, so it's my go-to mid-coat. And yes, this is the first time that I have sealed for this project. When my new lights arrived, I decided to test them out by painting this extra goose head that I printed as a magnet. Totally forgot I actually was meant to be painting it at the same time. So it turns out using copper for the eyes makes it look awesome. This thing still makes my wife jump when she opens the fridge. Fucking win. Back to Rexy. I paint the base rim black. Dab a little moss green over the wood and start sealing everything up with Vallejo matte varnish. Couple of coats knock back the shine, then gloss varnish for the eyes and mouth. For the wet mud, I mixed raw umber into the gloss and splattered it around Rexy's feet and across the base. Looks like she's been stomping around after the rain. Gloss over the flames, and that's it. The danger chicken is done. But before we go to the glamour shots, I just want to thank you for sticking around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy the videos. Now let's check out those final shots.